You are listening to Season 2 of Reality Check Podcast with your host, Matthew Smith.
Let me show you something.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another season of Reality Check with me, Matt Smith, as your host. This episode, the topic of conversation and the area in which I will delve into will be food. Very close to my heart, this topic. Serious about my food. Probably the reason why I can't shed any timber from the Christmas break. Anyway, I'm joined with another gentleman who also holds food quite close to his heart, or shall I say Scran. So much so that he started his own Instagram blog documenting all his trips to different restaurants and eateries and capturing the meals he has devoured. It is Glasgow-based food blogger John, aka the Scran Man AKA Scranstagram. How are you, John? All right?
Oh, I'm not too bad, thanks. Thanks
good.
for having me on.
No worries at all. How's your day been?
It's been fine. It's been pretty mental at work, getting back from Christmas, but it always is.
Yeah,
I was
everywhere
off
you
for
go.
like 2 weeks, so there's obviously going to be some fires to put out. But yeah, no, all good.
Good. First of all, just want to thank you very much for being here today, helping me out a great deal. I want to start with a little introduction, if that's okay.
Cool.
A chance for you to just give me and the people listening to the episode some background on yourself.
Cool. Well, my name's John. I moved to Glasgow about 11 years ago now. I moved here for uni, and I've never left. I did marketing at uni. I don't work in marketing now. But yeah, lived all over Glasgow. I think I've literally stayed in every bit of Glasgow, but I think I've kind of found my place in the south side now. I love the south side. There's lots of good places to eat, but as there is everywhere in Glasgow, I
Absolutely.
suppose.
So kicking things off, really, I want to ask you a few lighter-hearted questions just to really sort of ease us in more trivial stuff. I want to know where it all started for you. When and why did you really start wanting to document the adventures with food that you had?
So, like, food, I've always been a fan of food. Like, I've cooked from quite a young age as well. You know, I think I started cooking when I was about 12, 13.
Wow.
But just, basic stuff like scrambled eggs on toast and all that.
Can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, like, I think moving to Glasgow was maybe what... I mean, as I say, I did like food, I did cook, but moving to Glasgow, because I came from Aberdeen, and the food scene, although it has improved since I've left, when I was there, it wasn't really that good. And then moving to Glasgow, there was all this amazing food, like, on your doorstep.
Yeah.
So that kind of got me more and more kind of into it, and became a bit of a fanatic. And I'd been meaning to start an Instagram or I had a blog, but I kind of patched that because I wasn't really finding it very much fun. But yeah, the Instagram started, I think it was about 2 and a bit years ago now. I think it was like August 2017. And yeah, I didn't really kind of see it as a thing that would kind of take off. It was just at the start it was just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of documenting what I'm eating, what I'm cooking, and then it started to build some traction, and you almost get addicted to it. And when you get involved in the community, you meet lots of kind of like-minded people, and it just kind of snowballs, really. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely. Now, as recent as Sunday, so that's 2 days ago, I'm recording this, your Instagram page has posted 647 times, and you've got over 7,500 followers. Like, I'm looking at your pages, you've got some fantastic destinations under your belt. But is there one destination that you still wish to travel to, and what particular dish from that destination do you still want to try?
There are so many places that I want to go.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we've been to quite a few, but we've barely scratched the surface. I mean, me and my girlfriend loves food as well, so it's usually kind of, when we're deciding on the next destination, it usually takes kind of centre stage.
That's fair enough.
I mean, we're going to Vietnam in April. For 2 weeks, which will be amazing. That's somewhere I've wanted to go for ages. But and in terms of Vietnam, there's no one dish that I really want to try. It's just the Vietnamese street food. Banh mi, obviously, is a huge one. Other places, like, from watching things like Ugly Delicious and Somebody Feed Phil, like on Netflix and that, there's New York and fuck, that's delicious, the Action Bronson thing.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Like he's really kind of sold New York to me.
Absolutely. I think just sort of butting in there, every time that I see one of them, I don't follow it sort of as religiously as you, food-wise, but when I see it, almost brings more of an audience when you've got a rapper doing it as well and cooking the food. And he used to be a chef, did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of one of the things that I really like about him is, like, you can tell that it's completely genuine. Yeah. Like, he loves food. He loves to rap.
Doesn't care who knows it. He'll just
loves
say it.
He loves to smoke weed.
Like, absolutely.
And I'm not, like, I think when I think about the type of food that I like, it's not necessarily like fine dining. I mean, I do like fine dining, but what I like about shows like that is they show you the real place, like little street corner places that you would never really
hidden
think
gems
of going to.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So New York, New Orleans is another place that I really want to go. I mean, when we go to Vietnam in April, that'll be the first time I've been in Asia. There's a few places in Asia, like obviously Thailand and Cambodia, that I want to go. I don't think we're gonna venture out because we are only there for 2 weeks, so we're starting off in Hanoi in the north, and then kind of working our way down to Ho Chi Minh in the south over like 2 weeks. So I'm sure apparently the food's like completely different from the north to the south, so it'll be good. But yeah, I'm kind of getting a mind blank. There's so many places that I want to go.
Hey, you've got plenty of time. My goodness, yeah, you've got plenty of time to just venture. Just get as many different destinations on the belt as you can. I've got a couple of friends that are in Thailand now.
Nice.
And he's sort of doing a sort of similar to you, where he's just documenting everything that he's eating. And he was eating sort of relatively normal foods, and then it came to us like a street market, and it was those big, huge beetles on like a stick, and he was going, I'll have to try one of them, and he was chewing it, and he went, yeah, it's not too bad. I'm looking at it thinking, I don't know if I could do that.
Nah, I don't think I could do it unless there was money involved. I'm not really, I'm not really into that. Yeah. I mean, that seems a bit far for me, but apparently, like, this is off the subject a bit, but insects, like, you know how like they're quite a big thing in sort of Thailand and Vietnam and that, they're the most sustainable type of food, and there's like a few chefs in the world that are trying to like make nice things, like you wouldn't
out of locusts and things like that.
Yeah, like you wouldn't know it was an insect thing. It would be like an insect patty. Yeah, it's not really my cup of tea, but
not for me.
Each to their own.
Yeah, I suppose that's exactly right. People might love it. Absolutely. How did you go about building that 7,500 followers? I know it might be just a simple answer, but
I think at the start, if anyone's like looking at starting a food Instagram, you don't. I think it's kind of a bad place to start if you're going in looking to build a following, because it kind of may seem a bit insincere. I think the way that I kind of started building mine is there's a few kind of rules that you stick to. I mean, what the first one is, be authentic. Like, don't say things you don't mean just for the sake of it. If you don't have anything to post, don't post. But try and be consistent. Another big one is that you kind of need to do if you're wanting to build a following in a city is engage with the sort of the food Instagrammers and food bloggers that are already there. That's a huge thing, because when you start getting invited to things, you need to kind of build relationships with these people to kind of continue getting invited to other things as well. Yeah. And I think that's kind of one of the most important things. But
making links and sort of,
for sure, but that kind of side of it doesn't really come into play until you've got a bit of a following already. So that's like the first step, is to kind of get to the point where you're getting invited to things, and then kind of build relationships within the community, and then kind of just be consistent with what you're posting and kind of be true to yourself, really.
And that's right, and that's advice as well. That's a bit of advice you're giving there. It's perfect.
I'm here all week.
I'm here all week. Now, going back to the dishes you've tried and the different cuisines, is there a favourite cuisine or a specific food that you could just go, top of my list, I could have that every day?
There's so many. Like, I wouldn't say like I have a favourite cuisine, like, Indian is my favourite or Thai is my favourite. I mean, I think anything that's cooked well with a bit of passion, I'm gonna like. I don't know, if someone had a gun to my head and I was only able to eat one type of cuisine for the rest of my life, I think I would probably choose like maybe Thai food or like Vietnamese food or some kind of Pan-Asian type food, because it's so varied. There's meat, there's fish, there's heaps of veggie dishes as well. I think if you were to say, I'll stick to British. I think you'd get bored after maybe a few years of only eating that.
Yorkshire puddings and things like that. That's fine. I'll have enough of that. I'm done with that.
I mean, I do love British
food,
obviously.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Thai's it's a good answer. I think just to say that I can have a bit of everything, but I think Thai's I like the. I went to a Thai restaurant not long ago. Is it Pad Thai?
Pad Thai, that's a dish.
I think Pad Thai in a Thai restaurant. I didn't know what I was looking for, and I went to a Thai. I didn't know. I went, Pad Thai sounds lovely. Had it, and it's remained one of my favourite dishes.
Pad Thai's amazing. My girlfriend makes a really good Pad Thai as well.
It is almost that street food kind of style. Like you just go, scran it. I'll get rid of that.
It's really good for you as well. Pad Thai. I'm a big fan of Pad Thai.
Yeah. So favourite cuisines we've covered.
I know I was sitting on the fence a wee bit.
Hey, no, that's fine. I'm a fence sitter. That's fine. If you could have any 4 people, alive or dead, over for dinner at your place, who would they be, and why? And I also want to know. And an add-on, if you don't mind.
Okay.
What dish would you cook?
Okay. 4 people. That's a good one. I would have Action Bronson as one.
Fantastic. Great. Yeah.
Because he's a baller.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll get drunk. Yeah, that's great.
I think I would also have Joe Rogan as well, because he, obviously, his podcast. Like he's just very good at speaking to people.
Very real as well.
Drawn out conversation. Absolutely. Alive or dead. I'd probably have the Aberdeen football player Ian Jess. He's alive.
Anybody that doesn't know football, he's still alive.
God, so difficult. Next one.
On that table.
Anthony Bourdain. It would have to be. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And the dish.
And the dish I would cook them. It would probably be something that I'm.
It's got to appeal to all of them as well.
Yeah.
Action Bronson's got to have a bit of it.
I think the Action Bronson would probably want something
specific
Scottish
for him. Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
I think because he's into real food, he would probably want something that I've been cooking for ages.
Make me the Scottish.
I would probably
cook
like stew and dough balls or something like
that.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, as well as favourites and guilty pleasures, there must also be foods and dishes that you stay away from. So I want to ask you, if you had the power to banish any one food or dish from the earth, never to be seen again, what would it be?
Well, I that's a difficult one, because I used to be, I wouldn't say picky, but there were quite a few things that I didn't like.
Critical of things, yeah.
I didn't like mushrooms that much. I like them now. I didn't like beetroot. I don't mind it now if it's done well.
I suppose it's palate, isn't it? It's just, as you get older, you go, I can accept, I'll taste it and really appreciate it.
But the thing that angers me about food is when I get something that's cooked badly. Like, just when you go somewhere and it's obviously like the person has just started up a restaurant or a cafe or something, just because it's like a business and it's not like they have a passion for food.
Yeah.
It shows immediately. I would banish that kind of food. I would banish those kind of people.
Just want money and they just go, put anything, any old stuff out on the plate and that'll be all right. Yeah,
exactly.
That's fair enough.
Again, sitting on the fence.
No, hey, it's a good answer. You fence sitter. No. For the tech buffs out there, is there any photography gear that you use specifically, or is it just a phone? Any lenses in particular, or?
For the first sort of 2 years, the first year and a half, it was just my phone.
Yeah.
But I recently bought an Olympus EPL9,
nice.
And I just use the pancake lens for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy the 45mm lens soon. But it's great. Like, I mean, you do notice a difference in the image
Absolutely.
quality, and I used to be really critical of people buying like cameras and stuff for Instagram. I would be like, it's
don't take a photo of your food.
It's Instagram, not take a photo on a camera, put it into Photoshop and edit it Instagram.
God, no, you're right.
Now I've the EPL9. It's not a DSLR. It's like it's a mirrorless camera, so. It's like the bridge between a phone and a DSLR. You're never going to be able to get as good pictures on a phone.
Nice, right,
but you don't really need to be that good a photographer to kind of,
figure it out. And
figure it out. So it was a good purchase. Yeah. So basically the Olympus EPL9 is the only other thing that I use.
Into the nitty gritty now, and one of the main reasons as to why I've asked you to come here, I want to get your take on the future of food, where it's going. More specifically, the newest food trends that I'm sure we're going to see in 2020. I will list them, and then I want to get your opinion on whether or not it will be a hit or a miss, either this year or next year.
Cool.
Okay. So, lab-grown meat is becoming a reality, and some think that it will put an end to the meat industry and go some distance towards saving the planet. Others are rather more sceptical about its health-giving qualities and the motives of those developing it. So, the Scran Man, hit or miss?
I think at the moment, maybe in like 10 years, 15 years, maybe a hit. It just depends. I think that it would take quite a lot of persuasion to get people round to it at the moment. And, it would depend on how it tastes as well. I mean, if it tasted good and it looked good, I think the people pushing it would have a lot of an easier job. But, I think they're quite a long way off. So I'll say for now, a miss.
That's good. Number 2, Scotland's first ghost kitchen. The industry is also changing due to the rise in ghost or dark kitchens. These are kitchens for rent, which can be hired by existing restaurants or virtual brands to service the demand from delivery companies such as Uber Eats and Deliveroo. The latter, Deliveroo, recently reported that they had 2,000 virtual restaurants on their books in the UK. That is 2,000 restaurants that do not have bricks and mortar premises when customers can go to eat. They are delivery-only restaurants, or rather they are delivery-only restaurant brands. Scotland's first ghost kitchen will open in Edinburgh's Sighthill shortly. What does this mean, John, for old-school restaurants where guests can go and sit down and order 3 courses from a menu, and what do you make of it?
Well, I think that's, ordering food for delivery and going out to eat are 2 completely different things. So I don't really see a problem with it, to be honest. I mean, it depends on the quality of the food. So, sorry, just to clarify,
yes.
Like a ghost kitchen, it's like a premises that is only makes food for delivery?
Yes.
Okay,
literally,
cool.
that is, you go in and you get it, or they will come and take it and bring it to you.
I mean, I think that's, I think that could be a good thing because, again, it depends on the quality of the food, but if you're running a business that just only does delivery, you can set your business up for that specific purpose and be able to get food of a kind of higher quality out to people purely for delivery purposes. Like at the moment, restaurants that do both sit-in and delivery, I think the delivery food may suffer a little bit because the people in the restaurant take priority. But I don't see it. I think hit for that because I think it could be a good stepping stone as well into getting a bricks and mortar place. Yeah. People maybe might not have the capital to start something immediately, but they might have the capital to start up one of these ghost kitchens and, get their food out there essentially. If people like it, they're going to buy it, they're going to make money, and then they'll be able to open their own kind of premises. So, a hit for that, I think. Yeah.
Now, the next one I've titled Have It Your Way. The next trend worth mentioning is restaurants are going to have to become more nimble when it comes to servicing individual customers' requirements. How far can chefs go to meet their customers' requests? Food allergies and requests for vegan or veggie dishes are a given, but what about customers who don't like red food or want an omelette that isn't too eggy? A recent survey of 2,000 diners found that more than half of restaurant diners in the UK would like a fully personalised menu tailored to their specific needs, likes and dietary requirements. And what's your take on that?
Again, I think it depends how much the restaurant's charging.
If it's silly money.
Yeah, if they're charging a lot of money, then I think it's fine to be like, can you sort of change this, or can you substitute that out for this or whatever? But you're not going to go into like sort of like a Greasy Spoon or McDonald's or something.
I want this, and then I want it done that way.
You just get told to fuck off.
Yes, that's absolutely right. It is. And you go, can I have this, and please, and I want a little bit of soy sauce on the top. You can go somewhere else for that, mate.
You're a chef. Go home and make it yourself.
I'm the qualified one here. I will do how it is meant to be. Yeah. Oh no, I don't want that. Oh, we'll get out.
I mean, I think that kind of thing is a relatively niche. You're also at the other end of the spectrum. You're not going to go in and muck up. You're not going to go into a Michelin-starred restaurant and say that the chef will take.
He will tell you to f off, and
What? So do you think? Well, did I?
You don't like the menu? What is it? You don't like me? What is it? Yeah.
Get lost then.
Exactly.
So I think there maybe is a kind of mid to high range market for that, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it's a pretty niche thing. I'm going to say miss.
Fair enough. No fence sitting. That was good. I don't know.
But on the other hand,
let me just say this. The last one, ingredient fads. Is it ubi?
Ubi?
Ubi, a sort of purple yam. Ube?
I'm not sure.
It's a purple. There you go. See, learning something new every day, even from me. Ubi, a sort of purple yam, is the new hot veg to look out for. Eater Mag lists the following: aronia berries, energy-enhancing adaptogens, gastrophysics, pincer-style pizzas, nixtamalization, and here we go, cheese tea.
Cheese tea.
On our final trend,
Jesus.
John, what is your opinion on these ingredient fads and their place in food culture?
I think, some, I mean, a while ago, avocado was one of those fads, and it's now kind of ingrained itself. There's a few other things. I think, again, quite a lot of these things come about because there's like deemed to be superfoods, and in the whole like vegan space, there's all these things that can be used as substitutes for. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not, see, when it comes to vegan, I've got quite a few vegan friends. Sorry, I'm going off.
No, it's fine.
But like, I don't, like faking and fake meat and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really. I just think why try and substitute that? Like, you can still use the same ingredient, but just not call it like a meat thing.
I know.
But in terms of like those like kind of fad ingredients, if they are inherently good ingredients that can be used, like either because they taste good or they're like a thickening agent or whatever, fair play. But I think just for the sake of it,
for the sake of sounding a little bit more posh.
If it's for the sake of sounding a bit more posh, it can, it's a miss. Yeah. But in some instances, it can work.
I think that's fair enough.
Nixtamalization, God knows.
Cheese tea. I wouldn't want to try it. I wouldn't want to try it. Yeah, cheesy. No, not for me.
Just have some cheese.
Or just have some tea.
Or just have some
Earl Grey. Christ. Now, I've come across this news story on the BBC, which I did when I read it. I found it extremely interesting, and you'll see why. And the article reads, food made from air, with the little air bubble around it, could compete with soya. So basically the article goes on to say that there are some scientists in Finland producing a protein from thin air, again the little speak bubble come out again, where they say it will compete with soya on price within the decade. The protein is produced from soil bacteria, which is fed on hydrogen that is split from water, and then that whole process is done through electricity.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, it sounds nice. All in all, if the electricity comes from solar and wind power, the scientists are saying that the food could be grown with near zero greenhouse gas emissions. It may sound a little complicated, but the process in the end will help Earth in some way survive a little longer and help the world tackle many of the problems associated with farming. So what do you think, making food from thin air? Are you tasting that if it came to Glasgow?
I would taste it, yes. I would give it a try. I'd need to kind of find out,
how
it, like, because it's obviously not thin air.
No, but they're saying that it comes from the soil, or the bacteria from soil, that is fed on hydrogen split from water, and then the process is done by electricity, and they're bringing out this thing that is close to soya. Taste-wise, the researchers have said that it's tasteless at first, but this is apparently what they want it to be. They want it to be an additive to all sorts of food.
An additive to did it say like what that additive? So it was supposed to replace soya.
It's going to replace soya, essentially, and it's sort of mimicking palm oil really, by so reinforcing pies, ice cream, biscuits, pasta, noodles, and sauces.
Yeah, I mean, I would give it a try. I mean, obviously, you kind of have to be mindful of the world and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all for it. Yeah. Absolute hit.
Absolute. I want that now.
It sounds amazing.
We're coming towards the end of the episode, and to lighten things up, we're going to play a reality check favourite of season 1. We played it last season for about 3 or 4 of the 6 episodes, and it's over or under. Where I'll ask you to rate some food-related topics or items, and you'll tell me whether they are overrated or underrated. So number 1, haggis.
Underrated.
Fair enough. Why?
Because it's amazing. Oh, I mean, I think I love haggis. I think in Scotland it's rated where it should be. I think everywhere else it's not. People have a really, like, outside of Scotland, and yeah, they have a pretty vulgar view of what I mean, it's pretty disgusting, but
when you say it, I think as a southerner, that's.
What's your take on haggis?
When I heard it when I was still living down in England, and I was saying, people were going, "You got to try haggis, got to try haggis." I was thinking, there's no way I'm going to try that. What is haggis again? It's.
So I think it's just basically offal
wrapped in
mixed with like oats and onions and spices, wrapped in a sheep's stomach and then boiled.
See, that sounds
delicious.
I was going to say disgusting, but yeah, when you say it like that, it goes, oh, what is that? But I tell you what, I've tried it in a panini. I've tried it in a
Cheese
breakfast.
toasty.
I tried it in one of them, and it is gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Actually, one thing that I do, this is like with veggie haggis. Veggie haggis goes really well with chicken. So like the next time you have a roast, slap on
inside or just on the.
You can stuff it with it,
right,
or you can just make it as you would normally make a stuffing.
Yeah, of course.
And so you like veggie haggis with the chicken and the gravy.
Wow.
Oh, it's amazing.
Wow. Next one, porridge.
I love porridge. I wouldn't say it's overrated. I think quite a lot of people like porridge. I actually had it it wasn't porridge for breakfast this morning. It was overnight oats.
Oh my goodness, it's something new for me.
So like what you do is you just pour oats into like a bowl or a container or whatever, and then you can either use like milk or almond milk or whatever, and you just do equal quantities milk to oats. And what I do, add some honey, grate an apple, put that in, add some like cinnamon or whatever, and stir it about, and then put it in the fridge overnight. And by the time the morning comes, it's ready, and it's really good for you, and I love it.
Wow, that's a new one. I'll be trying that. Guacamole.
Right, I like guacamole, but I'm going to say it's overrated.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like a hipster thing. I do like it. It is good for you, but I think people go a little bit mad for it. It doesn't taste that good.
No, it is. It's a little bit bland. I think if you put a little bit of spice to it, or you add it to something that's got a bit of taste to it, you go, oh, that guacamole's lovely. But little do you know, it's not the guacamole that tastes nice. Tea cakes.
So like what?
The little chocolate ones with a little marshmallow with a biscuit at the bottom. Like Tunnock's tea cakes or.
All right, okay. I'm never going to say Tunnock's tea cakes are overrated.
No.
They're a Scottish staple.
And if I say they're overrated, I'm going to get done in.
Yeah, I'll get stabbed on the way home.
Oh, I heard you in that podcast. You said that the tea cakes are overrated.
Even though it's not live.
Unless someone's outside with their ear to the door. Right, next one, asparagus.
I love asparagus as well. I would say it's adequately rated.
Yeah, it's in the middle there. That's fine. Yeah. Bacon, facon.
Bacon's always going to be underrated. I think bacon's amazing. I would eat it every day
if you could. Well, you can.
And I do.
Every morning with my porridge. With your bacon, are you having it extra crispy or having that back bacon that's sort of a little bit pink?
Extra crisp. Well, not extra crispy, just a bit crispy. Just the fat,
a crunch.
The fat rendered, so that there's no real fat. But brown sauce or tomato sauce.
See, I've been changing as I've come up here and lived up here for longer. It's becoming brown sauce and brown
Good
sauce.
Man.
I used to be ketchup and mayo. Like, oh, lovely. My missus is absolutely mad about brown sauce on everything, and I go, let me just try this, and it's growing. It's getting to my diet, which is bad. That's why I can't shift the timber. Next one is salmon, smoked or unsmoked.
Well, both.
Yeah.
I love salmon. It's really good for you. I mean, again, I feel like I need to not sit on the fence, right? I'm going to say salmon is underrated because I know quite a few folk that don't like salmon.
Oh yeah, same. I think there's a few people that go salmon. No, it just tastes too fishy for me. It's too much. But I think it is. I think it's very nice.
It's good.
Right, Brussels sprouts.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I love Brussels sprouts. I mean, I don't like for Christmas dinner. What we do is we've done it for a few years now. Render some bacon down like chop up some bacon, render it down so that the fat comes out the bacon.
Wow.
Parboil the sprouts. When they're sort of parboiled, chop them in half. Fry them on a high heat in the bacon fat, and then add walnuts. It's good. I mean, I can eat sprouts by themselves, but that way it kind of makes them
a little bit more enjoyable, or it's something that's like
I mean, I've given them to people who don't like sprouts, and they love those.
It sounds like I would be interested in them.
But yeah, underrated for sure.
Spam.
Overrated, regardless of how many people hate it.
Yeah, overrated. I think so. And finally, bread and butter. Just a simple.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Love
I think
bread
that is
and
a
butter.
fantastic answer. Fantastic end as well. Bread and butter on anything. Chips in there, and you go anything. Even I've been
Chips
using
and brown sauce. Bread and butter.
What was it I used to do? I used to pot noodle. And I used to get so bored of just having just so hot. I just forking it in. I thought, let me just try bread and butter. And because it's so hot, you put it in the middle and it just melts all the butter. Fold it all over, and it does seep out. But hey, messy, it's great.
Okay, that sounds horrendous.
Don't ever describe that to me again. Well, there we go. We've come to the end of another episode of Reality Check. Have you enjoyed yourself, John?
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, had a good time?
Thanks for having me.
That's all right. You wouldn't have said you hate it anyway. I hate this show.
Overrated.
Yeah, never ever call me again. We're not doing it again. So thank you ever so much to my guest, John, aka the Scran Man, aka Scranstagram. He asked me to say that. And thank you.
I asked my mum to say it.
Don't call me John, Mum. Call me the Scran Man. A t-shirt.
How many times do I have to tell you?
Mum, look. Thank you for clicking on this episode, guys. You'll hear from me very soon on season 2 of Reality Check.
Let me show you something.